Hello, welcome back to our final episode, episode 3 of our mini series that we started this week, right? Entitled Legal Skills That Law School Forgot to Teach You. And in today's final episode of the mini series, we're going to focus on what IRS revenue officers really want and how you can give it to them. I am Nafisa Munir. Welcome back. I'm so glad you decided to join us for this final episode in the mini series. Let's jump right in and get started. Now, revenue officers, they don't care about your legal arguments. They do not care about case law. They don't even really care about being fair and fairness. Here's what IRS revenue officers do care about. And once you understand this, you will be able to negotiate your IRS cases for the win, right? And today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you the exact framework that I use when I'm dealing with IRS revenue officers, appeals officers, IRS managers. I'm going to give you the framework that I use. So let's get started. Now, here's what the basic of what you need to understand. IRS revenue officers, they are not your opposing counsel. In fact, what they really are, they're case managers trying to close case file. They have matrix, they have quotas, they have they have managers that are above them that they need to answer to regarding their productivity, okay? And their job is very simple. Collect tax debt as quickly and efficiently as possible. That's it. Collect tax debt as quickly and efficiently as possible. Now, what that means is IRS revenue officers, they really only care about 3 things. The first is your client, is the taxpayer compliant? Have they filed all the returns they need to file? Are they current on their payroll tax filings? Or is the taxpayer compliant? That's the first thing they want to know. Because if they're not compliant, there's nothing else to really talk about. Compliance is your client's ticket to the fair. If they're not compliant, there's no ticket. They're not getting in. There's nothing to talk about. I think we kind of made that clear. The second thing that IRS revenue officers care about is, can the taxpayer pay? They want to know, can they pay? Did you submit the form 433A or 433B, if you're talking about a business, to substantiate the fact that your client can pay or cannot pay? This is what the IRS revenue officer wants to know. And if they can pay, the revenue officer is going to be pushing for full payment. If they can't pay, then it's your opportunity to negotiate a proper settlement and resolution for your client. The third thing that IRS revenue officers want to know, or that they care about, is the case keeps moving forward. They do not like cases to be solved, to be stalled, right? Because what's their primary objective? To collect tax debt as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. So if the case is stalled, for whatever reason, they do not like it. So if you are responsive to their calls, if you are productive, if you're professional, if you're in terms of meeting deadlines, submitting appropriate documentation, this is going to work for you, and they're going to be much more receptive to working with you versus someone who is dodging calls, missing deadlines, not submitting the correct documentation. This is not going to be good. So once you understand these 3 priorities, number 1, is the taxpayer compliant? Number 2, can the taxpayer pay? And number 3, can we keep this case moving forward? Once you understand those 3 priorities of IRS revenue officers, then that's when your negotiation starts to become strategic, not adversarial, right? Okay, so let's keep it moving on. I want to make sure that I'm giving you exactly what you need to know and I don't miss anything. Okay, now to illustrate this, Let's look at the wrong way and then the right way to approach a particular situation or negotiation with an IRS officer. Okay. So here's the wrong way to negotiate with an IRS revenue officer. Let's say your client owes about $150,000 in payroll taxes, and the revenue officer has sent a notice of intent to levy. You call the revenue officer, and this is what you say: my client can't afford to pay. The IRS is being unreasonable. This is going to destroy their business. We're going to fight this. What do you think happened? The revenue officer is going to tune you out. Because why? Because you just told them, number one, the taxpayer can't pay, so there's no resolution in sight. Number two, you just told them you're being adversarial, so this case is going to be difficult. Number three, you just told the IRS revenue officer you're threatening to fight, so now they're going to need to protect themselves and start moving quickly. You will be tuned out. Now let's contrast that with the right way to deal with an IRS revenue officer. You have the same scenario where your client owes $150,000 in payroll tax, and the IRS revenue officer has sent a notice of intent to levy. You call the revenue officer and you say this: I understand you need to close this case, and I want to help you do that. My client is committed to resolving this issue. And what we've done is we've brought the client into compliance. They're current on their payroll tax filings, they're current on their tax return filings, and they're current on any estimates that may be due, right? And based upon their financial analysis of the that we included as part of the 433A and B, they can afford to pay about $500 per month. Now, I have the 433B for you to review. And what's the best part forward? An installment agreement or an offer in compromise? Please get back with me so that we can begin to resolve this issue. You see the difference? The first one was very adversarial, right? The wrong way was very adversarial, very combative. The second way was more collaborative, right? So what just happened with the right way? With the right way, what just happened is, number one, you acknowledge that we have a shared goal to resolve this issue, and I'm here to help you close this case. Number two, you demonstrated compliance by what? By telling them we've brought the taxpayer into compliance. We're current on our other filings. We're current on any estimates that we may have to pay. So you've demonstrated that. Not only that, you've positioned a certain solution by saying we determined that they can pay for $500 per month. You also positioned yourself as a partner in the solution, not an adversary. And then you've given them options, either with an installment agreement or an offer in compromise. So now the revenue officer is thinking to myself, oh, okay, this attorney knows what they're doing. This attorney knows what they're talking about. Okay, the taxpayer is compliant. There's a path forward. Let's work together to resolve this issue. This is what the IRS revenue officer is going to be thinking. Now, I'm not saying that you won't have exceptions, right? Because we're talking about generally. 80% of the time, this is going to get you where you need to be. You're going to get a better result for your client, okay? This is how you win. So let's bring it all together and let me let you know what the framework is. The first thing in this framework is step one is you want to lead with empathy, right? So when they said, oh, I understand you need to close this case, you're already establishing empathy. The second step is you want to demonstrate compliance. So when you said, oh, my client is current on their payroll tax filings, on their tax filings, on their estimates, they're current. You're demonstrating compliance. Number three, you want to provide a financial reality. So when they said, oh, we're submitted the 433B for you to review. So we're not just talking out the side of our neck. We submitted financial documentation to support our position. Number four, you offered an actual solution, right? And you kind of left it open by saying, okay, let's put our best path forward, either an installment agreement or offering compromise. That was you setting up a solution. And then step five, you want to be responsive and you want to be professional. Again, return calls, submit documentation and information by the deadlines, and be very professional when you're dealing with the IRS revenue officer or appeals officer or IRS manager. That's it. This framework is going to work with your revenue officers, with your appeals officers, and with your IRS managers. Why? Because you're speaking their language. Because what? Their priority is to collect tax debt as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Okay? All right. So finally, I'm glad you decided to join us today. These three skills that law school forgot to teach you. Number one, the statute of limitation strategy. Use your CSAID date as a weapon to resolve your client's tax debt. Number two, episode two was about understanding how the 433A works and how we view it like the IRS, right? Get your numbers right. The third was negotiating with the IRS revenue officers. You want to have a collaborative disposition, not a combative one, right? And I hope you watch all three videos. If you didn't, go back and watch the ones that you missed, because all three together will give you a foundation upon which to be able to address your client's tax debt and concerns when they walk in the office without you making major mistakes. Whether you're an attorney, a CPA, or EA, you will get it right. But here's the reality I want you to know. Watching videos isn't the same as mastering this area of tax representation. But if you want the full roadmap, the case walkthroughs, the scripts, right? The role plays is going to take place, the confidence to being able to address the concerns that your client will have when they walk in the door with that tax debt issue. If you want that, then join me this December 2nd through the 4th at Tax Magic Live. Where? At the State Bar of Georgia Conference Center in downtown Atlanta. 3 days in person. We're going to give you everything you need to get started. Whether you want to start full time, you just want to add this as a revenue stream, as your current practice, or you want to go all in. Yes, we're going to be there to help serve you. So check us out. Check out the link below, and I hope you join us. But if not, thank you for joining me today for another episode of this mini series. Till next time, I'll see you next Tuesday on Let's Talk Taxes Tuesday. I am Nafisa Manira. Have a great one.